Dr. John Kenny, consultant cardiologist and medical director of the Cardiac Rehabilitation Service at the Bon Secours Hospital, Cork. This DVD is intended for patients who've undergone a cardiac event and would like to know more about diet and heart health. This session is supported by the Irish Heart Foundation and by the Irish Association of Cardiac Rehabilitation, and involves a visit to a supermarket by a dietitian.
Hello, Thais is my name and I'm a dietitian based in the Bon Secours Hospital in Cork. Today we're going to be talking about diet and heart health. The information within this DVD is intended as general heart protection dietary advice. You're advised to contact a registered dietitian if you have any specific dietary needs, or if you've been given previous advice that conflicts with the contents of this DVD. Making the right food choices can help you manage your cholesterol, your weight, your blood pressure, and reduce your risk of heart disease. The key to healthy eating is to eat a wide variety of foods based on the food pyramid. This helps provide the vitamins, minerals, and goodness you need from your food to protect you from disease. The Irish food pyramid is composed of 5 food groups, each forming a layer or shelf. The bottom shelf, composed of breads, cereals, rice, pasta and potatoes, is for the group we should eat the greatest quantities of. The narrowest depicts the group we should eat the least of, such as oils, fats and sugary foods. Above the bottom shelf are fruits and vegetables. The middle shelf is milk, cheese and yogurt. And below the top layer is meat, fish and alternatives. Advice to drink plenty of water is also given. I'll be discussing these in more detail as we work our way around the supermarket. The first group I'd like to talk about are the carbohydrates. Pasta, rice, cereals, potatoes and breads fall into this group. Carbohydrates give us fuel or energy. These foods don't contain a huge amount of fat. It's what you add to these foods or the sauces that you use that has an effect on your weight. So what about portions? The quantity of these foods can have an effect on your weight also. If you take in a lot more energy than you need, it can be stored as weight. As a guide, we're looking at getting between 6 and 11 portions in the day. An example of a portion would be a small bowl of cereal, a slice of bread, 1 small potato, or something like 2 tablespoons of pasta or cooked rice. These foods also give us fibre. Porridge is an excellent source of soluble fibre and helps to lower the amount of cholesterol your body absorbs. Insoluble fibre, or roughage as it's called, would be things like your Weetabix, your fruit and fibre, all bran, and it helps to maintain a healthy digestive system. Whole grain cereals as well as whole grain breads are a good source of roughage or fibre. In terms of breads, we're looking at wholemeal, whole grain or whole fibre. Leaving your skins on your potatoes is another way of getting fibre into the diet. Mashing or boiling as opposed to, say, making potatoes into chips is a good low-fat option. Another group that is high in fibre are fruits and vegetables. They're also packed full of vitamins and minerals that can help to fight disease and infection. The magic number is 5 portions of fruit and veg combined a day. An example of this would be something like an orange, a banana, a small glass of juice, a handful of berries or grapes, or about 2 tablespoons of salad or vegetables. If you're struggling to get up to your 5 a day, a good way of incorporating fruit would be maybe as snacks or in desserts. Tinned and canned fruit in natural syrup counts, as does dried fruit. If you're struggling with vegetables, try incorporating things like frozen vegetables into soups and maybe stews. If you're diabetic, you're advised to just spread out your intake of fruit through the day, as fruit contains natural sugar. So just aim for 1 piece at a time if you can. You're advised to avoid things like grapefruit and cranberry juice, as these can interact with your cardiac medication. Let's move on to the next style. We know that it's important to cut back on saturated or animal fat, as this is what pushes up cholesterol and causes weight gain if taken in excess. Going for lower fat cheeses, yogurt and milk overall ensures that you get the protein and calcium that you need, but less of the fat. As a guide, we're looking for going for 3 portions of dairy a day. This would equate to low-fat milk in cereal, something like a low-fat yogurt, and an ounce of low-fat cheese. Cheeses should be limited to about once or twice a week, given that they're quite high in fat and salt. Soya milk and yogurts are a good alternative to dairy, as they don't contain saturated fat. Just make sure that you go for calcium fortified varieties. So we've covered the carbohydrates, the fruit and the vegetables, and the dairy. Let's move on to the meat and fish. Meat, fish and eggs are a good source of protein, which is important for growth and repair within the body. Although meat contains saturated fat, it also contains iron, which is essential for healthy blood. Try going for lean cuts of meat and lean mince where possible, less than 3 times a week. When buying cuts of meat, ask your butcher for a lean cut, trim off the excess fat and try and grill or bake as opposed to fry. Processed meats like your rashers or sausages or burgers are quite high in fat and salt and are therefore best limited. How about oily fish? Your salmon, your mackerel, sardines are all good sources of omega-3 fats, which have been shown to reduce the risk of heart disease. White fish is also a good source of protein and it's lower in fat. Try going for white fish a couple of times a week. In terms of eggs, the limit is 5 a week. And again, try and go for poached, scrambled, as opposed to fried.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Try to include 100 grams or less than 4 ounces of lean meat or lean protein at your main meal and a couple of ounces at your smaller meal every day. Foods that fall into the top shelf of the food pyramid are sources of fat, salt and sugar. When we're looking at spreads, we're aiming to go for either vegetable-based, either polyunsaturated or monounsaturated spreads, as opposed to saturated fats like your butter. Vegetable-based spreads are generally lower in fat. You may have seen cholesterol-lowering spreads on the market. These have been proven to lower cholesterol, but are generally more expensive. They are not encouraged if your cholesterol is adequately managed with medication, and they are by no means a substitute to a healthy diet. Rapeseed, sunflower and olive oils are also a source of fat. Even though they're not animal-based or saturated, they still have an effect on your weight if taken in excess and are therefore best limited. In terms of sauces, what we're looking for is tomato-based sauces as opposed to, say, white sauces or cream-based sauces. In terms of cakes, biscuits and chocolates, we're aiming to keep these as treats or as a minimum if we can. If you're peckish in between meals, try to go for things like fruit, yogurt, popcorn or even fruitcake. How about alcohol? Alcohol can lead to weight gain, can increase blood pressure and can damage heart muscle, so is best limited. The weekly limit for men is 21 standard drinks and 14 standard drinks for women. Use diet, low-calorie mixers and avoid adding sugary drinks and therefore extra calories. Some tips for healthier shopping include: make a shopping list in advance, do not go shopping when you're hungry, use the food pyramid as your guide, read food labels, buy fresh as much as possible and avoid processed and salty foods. Today we've spoken about diet and heart health, with emphasis being on moderation and balance. I hope you enjoyed the tour.